Alright, let's start pulling these turbos. So, a couple things here. We're going to remove 10mm here. We already popped this clip out here. We got this clip here that comes out. 10mm here that comes out. Okay, we're going to remove our connectors here for the wastegates. One here, one here. Okay, then we're going to remove this bracket here. And then we're going to remove our heat shield. And we're going to remove this line here. And free all this up, basically get the hoses out. So this way we can start removing the turbos. So. Okay, I'm going to go, so I'll pop this out. Okay, wastegate connector there. Okay, and then I'm going to have to disconnect that T30 right there. Get this out of the way. And now we're disconnecting our lines from the turbo. And that is also a T30. Alright. These are not that tight, so once you crack them loose, you just get the rest out by hand. Oh, that's alright if the bolt falls. Another one right there. Their E12. Crack them loose. Another one over here. Alrighty. Alright, so I'll get this T30 out of here for this bracket. Extension to get that one. Can't really see, you gotta feel for it. Get in there. I'm on it. get this V-bar off. We got a 13 and 2/16 bottom. See down there?
Yeah.
So we got a 16 here. You see it? Right here. And there's another one here. I'm going to take those out. Alright. Can you see in there or no?
Yeah, I can see.
Nice. These. One's out. We got our hose attached here. So let's go with this. Alright. Alright. Alright, those two are out. There it goes. Nice one. Oh. Okay. Now we can pull this one out. And then wiggle this baby out right there. Beautiful. Okay. Seal still looks good in there. Alright, so we got our coolant hoses out. Let's remove these to the side. Got new seals for those. Alright, so we removed our shield bolt. There's one in the back. Kinda gotta get to it from the bottom. And there's one here. And then there's another one up in here. So we'll get this one first. Kind of need a wobble extension right here to get to it. Alright, that's that. Alright, so pretty much got our turbos ready to come out now. We removed that shield and we got our oil lines disconnected here. These are just these little T30s. There's one more oil line on the bottom here that we're gonna get. So you can either get it from the bottom, go underneath, but I'll get it from here. I'm gonna get a rag in here. There's gonna be some oil dripping out. Alright, so we're ready to remove our copper nuts that hold the turbos in on this, with these studs that are bolted into the head. It's just a 10mm. So what I'm going to do is come back here underneath and start removing the one right back here. And these are TTY copper nuts. They're stretched, so I highly recommend replacing these. Most guys don't, but BMW uses a lot of TTY stuff, which means torque to yield, which is torque to a certain degree, and this thread's stretched, so I don't really want to be reusing stuff like that, in my opinion. So I'll get this one out. Alright, there's one. Alright, come back up top. Let's start getting the other ones. And there's our washer right there. Alright, so we got the one there on the bottom. And there's 4 on each. Alright, there goes a light bulb. Let's get our light so we can see what we're doing. Alright. Let's just get away. Alrighty. So what I'm going to do here is just crack it loose, and I'm going to get it with the cordless ratchet. Should be able to. That's nice. Hopefully we can get this thing here. There's 2. And around here. Make it a little easier to get to as you get closer. You want to be careful with this rod here, you don't want to bend it. So if you have to get an extension or whatever, just loosen it. And not be rubbing against this right here. Alright, that one's ready to come out. Yep, one more. Alright, that was out. It's in there. Try to wiggle it out. Last one. So for our last one, we did remove our line here, but it kind of messes with the clearance to get to that nut. So you're going to want to just pop the line back in just a little bit, not all the way, and then you can get in there with your extension to be able to remove it. So, and here like that. And once we get it out, we'll pop the line back out, and then we can remove this whole turbo. All right. That one. Just getting here with a little magnet to get that last one. We got it for. No. Like I said, we'll pop this line back up and out. Sometimes you gotta wiggle it out a little bit. There we go. Alright, so that's out of the way. And not in the turbo. And now we can remove this turbo. And usually you gotta wiggle it a little bit, so you never want to grab it from the... With a little bit of love. And you're gonna lift out. Go down. And then you can get it out. And just be careful of this line here. You can kind of push it down that way. Slide this line through like so. Kind of hold that with your finger there. And now our first turbo is out. So we'll get this on the table here. So we're going to have to make some swaps here. Alright, so let's get the other one. And we do have new gaskets as well. Now we can just remove our 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Cool. Pull our little metal things out of there. And then we can get our gaskets. Get the stock gasket out of there as well. And it's kind of held in by these little pins. You want to pop it from the pins. Sometimes you gotta wiggle it a little bit. And sometimes you might even have to get in there with a little tool. Pop it out. There it goes. Alright, so there's the OEM exhaust manifold gasket. Let's go and match it up to our new one here. So this one's 10. This is our new one. Oh, beautiful. So we won't be reusing these, but we'll set that aside over there. Okay, so for our last, we just have to remove these 4, and then we can get this turbo out as well. Everything else is disconnected. Our turbo line on the bottom, we just removed it from the block. So it's kind of a mess and struggle. Let's rearrange our light here. Alright. So we got 4. 1. Break it loose. One. 2. 3. And 4. Set that aside. Same thing with this one. So you don't want to grab it from here. Grab it from the metal always. You want to grab it from the backside here. Give it a little wiggle. Alright, once it's free, you know it's free because it's wiggling like this. Angle it down. Pull up. You can move this out of the way. Alright, we got our other turbo. This over here. Okay, so we got both of our turbos, and now we can start swapping the components. So we know that this is this turbo here. You can tell by the angle of these. You can easily look at these are facing upright, right? And this line is facing straight out. And if you look at this one, it's kind of at an angle up, so we know which turbo is which. and you want to swap it out exactly perfectly, everything on each one. So we'll start off with this oil line. It was kind of hard to get off being out of the car, so I'm going to take this out.